A dog is a reflection of your energy, your knowledge, and your actions, just like raising a child. My kids are a reflection of my energy, my philosophy, and my actions. Of people not understanding spirit first, instinct second, mind third, and then is the heart.
Well, I'm here today with a man who's a legend, and as a very young man, that's hard to do. But Cesar Millan is known as the dog whisperer, and Cesar, you've had a terrific career, and it's so uniquely you, and it's not like you the next coming of somebody else. I'd love to start at the beginning. I know you're a TV star for probably a couple of decades now. You have a New York Times bestsellers. Have, I think, 21 million global social media followers. You've been on so many other people's TV shows. I've been enthralled by some of the work you've done, watching your videos over the years. There's one in particular I watched, Caesar, where there was a young woman who was trying to take care of a dog and was penned, and it was terribly vicious. And you had to work and work and work to teach her how to work with that dog and get it over its violence. She couldn't even feed it; it was so violent. And it took you so long to get that dog to respect your territory and understand your intentions. It was such an interesting uh, half hour of video of showing someone who had such command of themselves, not just what they wanted to do, but the signals they sent, the way they communicated verbally and non-verbally. There was so many lessons in there. This didn't come to you naturally, Cesar, although maybe it did. I'd love to start at the beginning. I know you grew up in rural Mexico. I'd love to hear what that was like.
Growing up in Sinaloa, now people know Sinaloa from a narco
Not for the
state,
right reasons.
not for the right reasons, right? And so most of the kids, where I grew up, the role models are narcos, literally narcotraficantes. Um, and so that was the environment, an environment that it was hostile from the beginning. Talk about the energy of crime. It was really high, but everybody's so used to it, but at the same time, when you have good parents, um, they keep you in a certain path, or they keep you as safe as possible, with good
But in that
belief
environment,
system.
that's a very hard job.
I commend my parents on how great of a job they did, because it was easier for me to become a narco than the dog whisperer,
Yes.
right? I mean, I should. It's about leadership, right? It's about dominance. It's about territorial, and pretty much everything that I teach, those people do it obviously with guns, right? So that's where I grew up. That was the environment of me when I was a child. But at the same time, I got good moral values. I got good instincts. I grew up with my grandfather and my grandmother, like a typical Mexican family, which is your grandparents, your uncles, and everybody has the same agreement, about God, about the land, about the family, about work. Good heart, people with good heart, and most Latinos, we have good heart. And then the creativity, because it's life and death every single day. So it forces you to be creative, right? Because it's
And
no.
closer as a family, you have to keep your relationships even closer in a hostile environment.
Yeah, because that's all you have. You have God in the family, and whatever work you can find or you can create. Like I say, you have to be very creative, right? Because there's the opportunities. When people talk about the land of opportunities, that's not Mexico, right? And
Well,
so America has so many opportunities for people who come from where I'm from, because we see endless. We see all these possibilities.
and what back then? What was the difference between Mexico? What ingredients made that the case, Caesar? That America was the land of opportunity. If you were the czar of Mexico at that time, what things would you have changed to have Mexico at that time, or today, I would suspect, be a land of
Well,
opportunity?
education. It all comes down to education, right? It all comes down to educating human to understand what position they were born to be, back of the pack, middle of the pack, front of the pack, and what is your mission, your dream, your goals, to intrigue people with those questions. What are your passions? It's not so much about money, fame, and power. It's about what's your natural, simple, profound self. Things that you will do because you believe in it, because instinctually you're good at it, or you're passionate about it, and you keep thinking about it. Because when I was little, I always wanted to work with dogs. So I thought that being a vet was the profession that I was supposed to follow because this desire,
Yep.
this goal, this mission, this instinct, because I was good with animals since I was little,
Yep.
right? It's like soccer players; they're good since they're little,
Mm-hmm.
and singers, they're singing since they're little. So for me, I had this connection with animals, but I thought everybody did, because it was nothing unusual. Because I'm from a farm, so on a farm you got to talk to the plants and you got to talk to the animals,
Uh-huh.
and it's a language that you develop, but you don't think it's nothing special about it because everybody does it. And coming from where I'm from, this is where poverty comes from, right? We are the people that grew up in poverty, so we don't have anything special to share to the world. So that stigma, we have to remove it out of the way. So if I was the president of Mexico, back then and now and in the future, it's education. It's educating people so they learn to utilize their spirit, they utilize their instinct, to utilize their heart, and to utilize their mind individually, and then eventually put all together, right? Because to achieve anything in life, you need faith, you need hard work, passion, and creativity. Anything. So
You know,
you need your spirit, your instinct, your heart, and your mind.
I just had a conversation recently. In fact, it just came out with Professor Arthur Brooks, who's the known as the Professor of Happiness at Harvard, and he, like you, Caesar, is a great communicator and a great teacher. And his four pillars for people to have happiness are, as you said, in his case, he says it's faith, it's family, it's friends, and it's the opportunity to do meaningful work.
Yep.
So you two are very much aligned. I
Yeah.
think I think that's so wise on your part to say that the one thing that you would influence if you were the president of Mexico would be the emphasis on education because the foundational elements are there in terms of the spirit, the
Yeah.
culture, God-fearing people, and family structure. And the next necessary ingredient is a good education system, and that seems to be getting better. Is it?
In Mexico,
Yeah.
the education?
Is it getting better?
No, no,
No.
no, no. If you're rich, yes. If you're rich, yes. But if you're the back of the pack and the middle of the pack, you don't get the same knowledge,
Mhm.
right? And so it's still a big gap of this lack of education that creates a lot of confusion. It creates a lot of unhappiness. It creates a lot of chaos. That's why it's so many sicarios,
Yeah.
because the easier way to make a dollar is by grabbing the most available job that requires no
Education.
reading, no writing,
Yep.
no. It really is about entering into your dishonest, disrespectful, not a good heart, and that's not good for humanity anyway. For people to enter that way, but that's what's is available.
Cesar, you've been a famous person for 25 years. What's the best part of being famous?
Well, that you can lead, that you can influence, that you can educate, that you can make a difference, right? Because the dogs don't know I'm famous, but I lead them as well as I lead humans who have dog problems. And there's not a dog problem; it's a human problem, right? It's the lack of education of people not understanding spirit first, instinct second, mind third, and then it's the heart. Because people like to give the affection first, and they forget to honor spirit, they forget to respect instinct, and they forget to influence the mind, right? So it's spirit, instinct, mind, heart. And so dog lovers, the first thing they do is boom, they throw love into the dog. So to be able to influence a generation, right? Because like you said, I've been on TV for 20 years. I practically raised a generation, and so these kids, they now come to me and they say, "I watched the show with you, with my grandma. I grabbed the show with my parents." Because it was the only show that really focused on education, entertainment, and enlightenment.
And as you're implying there, it wasn't just about how to work with dogs. There's much deeper lessons there.
Yeah, because I train people rehabilitate dogs. A dog is a reflection of your energy, your knowledge, and your actions. Just like raising a child.
Hmm.
My kids are a reflection of my energy, my philosophy, and my actions. And so anything that is around me is going to be a reflection of my energy, my philosophy, and my actions. You see it?
Yep.
To me, when people were focusing so much on training a dog, I said, why would you train a dog when the human doesn't know how to connect? You see it? And you connect it with your energy, with your patience, your calmness, your confidence, your love, your joy. So you have five energies that you need to use for connection, and then you need to follow the philosophy of dog, because dogs have their own psychology. So you can't humanize a dog because it's not healthy to the dog to be treated like human. It's not going to understand. For example, a dog learned nose, eyes, ears. Nose, eyes, ears. Human is eyes, ears, nose.
Mm-hmm.
So a dog learned through his nose. So a dog can be blind and he can still bring you back home.
Mm-hmm.
You see it? The human, if he's blind, he can't bring you back home. He's
Yep.
blind. You see it? So what makes the dog a dog is his nose, not his eyes, not his ears.
And obviously, they're a product of their environment and their surroundings. So, depending on the age of the dog and the circumstances, those instincts are going to be very different. Is it very different by breed as well?
Well, there is power in the breed. There is power, right? But I have worked with a very strong Jack Russells, stronger than a pit bull,
Hmm.
right? Stronger than a pit bull. I think it has to do a lot with the position that they were born to be, like front of the pack dogs who have to create their own rules, boundaries, limitations are going to be more difficult to convince than back of the pack or middle of the pack who are doing whatever they want, right? Because the middle and the back are born to follow. So once they're in front of somebody that knows how to lead, they give you the leadership. They give it to you.
Hmm.
They don't want it.
Yep.
But the front will fight for the position. So that's what is more, for a lot of people, become a lot more challenging because they don't know how to distinguish the position of the pack that dog was born to be.
Cesar, how old were you when you came to the U.S.?
21.
And the manager of your company, Gaetano, was telling me a story about how you were first discovered as a dog walker.
Yeah, I started working, walking dogs because I saw that was what many dogs in LA needed. LA is not a walking city like New York or
Hmm.
like Europe,
Yep.
right? So LA people don't walk a lot. And so immediately, instinctually and logically, I saw, well, I'm just gonna offer these people the service of walking dogs. So I started walking 65 dogs off leash, right? I used to charge $10, $10. So I make my money on volume. It was very cheap, right? But I made the money on volume. But at the same time, that created this incredible, uh, uh, you know, never been seen before, a Mexican guy walking a pack of dogs off leash. Rottweilers, pit bulls, German shepherds. Because I was living in Inglewood, so Inglewood is like the hood.
Yep.
And so in the hood, they don't have Labradors, they don't have poodles, they have Rottweilers, pit bulls, and German shepherds for protection purposes.
Yep.
So I went and asked them, "Hey, can I walk your dog?" And people will say no to me, but some people will say yes. And that really is what created the whole marketing unconsciously, because that's not what I was trying to do.
You were trying to
You
make a
know,
living.
I was just trying to make a living in helping dogs. My heart would say, poor dogs, because I come from Mexico. Dogs in Mexico are free. They're just free. They're not behind walls.
Yes.
And so dogs in America are behind walls. So they're not free.
Hmm.
They can't just go wherever they want, right? And so that's immediately, so well, if they work for a long time, they're going to be happier, right? But thanks to that way of thinking, that simple way of thinking, it allowed me to be seen by the world, by especially the LA Times.
And someone heard about you walking these dogs off leash, and they came and did a story on you.
The LA Times find out that is a Mexican guy that walks dogs from Inglewood to South Central, right? And that was my path. Inglewood to South Central, because nobody tells you nothing, and in the hood, no one, right? The police don't say nothing. Nobody says nothing. And so the gang members were, I had a lot of respect. I got a street cred from that. And so the LA Times, find one day say, hey, can we do a piece on you? I say, yeah, of course. I'm learning English. I'm open to opportunities, and so they did. They followed me for 3 days, and at the end of the third day, they asked me a very incredible question at that time, where they say, "What would you like to do 5 years from now?" Remember, I'm from Sinaloa. You can't plan 5 years from now.
Uh-huh.
You see it? So the concept of planning 5 years from now was something that I never even thought about it. Who can guarantee 5 years?
So what was your answer?
My answer is I would like to have a TV show.
So you did have a plan,
Well,
or at least a
I
wish.
saw I saw that people needed my help. I saw that people were coming, like people from Beverly Hills, people from England were finding out, hey, it's a guy in South Central that rehabilitate dogs. So the word of mouth began. Ta, ta, ta. This is before social media.
Yes.
Okay, this is before social media. And so people, the word of mouth, but it also has a lot to do with faith, right? It has to do with the mission. It has to do with what God puts you here for, and how beautiful, hints of miracles happen for you. Listen, this cannot be done without God. Okay, this is a miracle.
Yep.
Make birthdays even happier with buttercream frosted cookies, dreamy cakes, and more. Wishes come true one bite at a time with tasty surprises from Cheryl's Cookies.
I've heard you say many times that dogs don't understand language; they only understand energy.
Yeah, that's why cats can control a dog. That's why a bird can control a dog. Completely different species. They're not gonna, take the time to learn any language. They're just going to communicate their way, right? So how can a cat control a dog? Energy. The cat is stronger,
Mm-hmm.
right? The energy of the cat is stronger. The dog recognizes, and the dog follows the cat. If the dog is stronger energy than the cat, he chases the cat. But if the cat's stronger than the dog will follow the cat. So it's energy.
Yep. So when someone says something, it just sometimes just clicks differently, and it changes how you understand things. And when you said about the dogs don't, it's all about the energy, and that we make the mistake of bringing our affection first to the dog without considering the other elements, it just makes so much sense. So a family has a couple of children, 5 and 7 years old, and they want to get a dog because they think it's good for their children to grow up with a dog. What advice do you have to them in terms of what they do, what kind of a dog they select, and then what do they do? What's the rigor? What's a program they should follow to get a best environment for that dog and a best experience for their children?
Well, we have to be very honest with the kids, right? And we can't really use fantasy, because a lot of people forget about death, right? It's very important to talk about bird life and death. Bird life and death.
Uh-huh.
The dog will die, right? So very important, because nobody is ready for that.
Sure. That's not what
Okay.
I expected you to say first.
What? Oh, because listen, it's a big problem. It's a big problem because people think that and the second one is the responsibilities while they are out alive. Okay, so
Mhm.
we just have to understand. Okay, we're gonna honor our dog's life this way. The dog will have an end, and we all have to be ready for it. That's it. You don't know when, but you have to understand that that is part of it. Okay, because a lot of times kids are not ready, people are not ready, and so they end up with a broken heart, right? And so the second thing people have to understand is the responsibilities behind. It's not just the heart of the dog, it's the spirit of the dog. So how? Well, you have to be honest, you have to have integrity to create loyalty, because for a dog, loyalty is more important than love.
We all think our dog loves us. We love our dog, but you're saying not really.
Well, if you want to have the off leash experience, loyalty is what makes a dog follow you. You see, not because the dog loves you, he trusts you. Not because the dog loves you, he respects you. So, but if a dog is loyal to you, he will trust and respect. Yeah. So
And
you have to speak about certain moral codes, moral values,
yes,
right? Because in the animal world, they do believe in honor. They believe in integrity. They believe in loyalty. They believe in living in the moment, right? Because they live in the moment.
they don't have
That's
a time
between life and
concept.
no, it's about life and death right in the middle.
Yeah.
What is life about? It's about right in the middle, life and death. So that's how you enjoy the moment. Okay. And the second thing is the responsibilities. A dog is pack oriented. He needs to be part of the pack. Well, that pack needs to be an agreement. Agreement, commitment, follow through. See, those are big words. Those are big words.
But
Okay.
they have application beyond the dog pet relationship. They have application in everything we do.
Well, remember, the dog is a reflection of the energy, philosophy, action of the family. Okay, so we have to make sure that the whole family understand that is spirit, instinct, mind, heart. I'm leaving the heart at the end because it's the easiest one to do. It's easy to love a dog. It's
It,
the easiest thing to do.
it's what we do instinctually.
It's a habit. It's a
Yeah.
habit, because in Europe, people think different the way they go about a dog. Germans, for example, they educate themselves about how to train a dog and the rules, boundaries, limitations, and they follow a protocol, right? First,
Mm-hmm.
so that's very German, right? Right. So and then eventually they love a dog. Americans, they love a dog and then they educate themselves.
Do you have training materials available for your community when they're considering getting a dog? Do you have
Oh
a
my God,
video?
yes. I have 9 books. For example, How to Raise the Perfect Dog.
Yep.
And so the second, another thing people have to consider is what position of a pack, back, middle, front. If you're a first time family, do not get a front of the pack. Let me explain to you something. So for a police officer, he's going to go into Belgian Malinois or German Shepherds. They have to pick the front of the pack. It's only one per litter. Only one pick of the litter.
Is that right?
Only one. Only one. And any litter is only one that is born to be in the front.
Mm-hmm.
The other puppies are middle or back of the pack. So they call them pet quality or run off the litter. Front, middle, back. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So the middle of the pack, those guys are like the happy-go-lucky. They're born like this. The back of the pack are a little bit more shy, more sensitive.
Uh-huh.
The front of the pack are direction protection. You see it? So that's why it's not good for a first time family to ever get a front of the pack. Ever.
Mm-hmm.
They're direction protection. They already know.
And what is that? Is that how does that happen? That right out of the right as the litter is born, they've already separated into their different personality sets.
Watch a litter of puppies, and you see the front of the pack, the brother. It moves all the brothers,
Yep.
and he takes over the mom, and he becomes the biggest one in the litter.
Mm-hmm.
You see it?
Yep.
And then you see how the shy ones stay in the back. And then the second in command, the middle of the pack, gets to the mother. Front, middle, back. So they create formation. It's a formation.
Mm-hmm.
You see it? And it's very obvious. You just have to look for it. Because most of the time people go after the breed or people go after the cuteness.
Yep.
And people keep asking, what's the best breed? Well, they all have this capability of being great because they're all dogs.
Yes.
Now, the breed has to do with what the humans have assigned, like border collie, golden retrievers. That's a design. That's like a degree.
Mm-hmm.
They're already born with a degree,
Yep.
but they're all dogs.
Mm-hmm.
So I grew up with mutts. And when people ask me, Cesar, what's the best dog that you ever get? I will get a street dog.
Yep.
Why? Because a street dog uses his survival mechanism, right, on his own.
Mm-hmm.
And versus a dog that is trained, that dog needs to be told what to do.
Yes.
You see it? So a street dog who is a mutt has a much better spirit, instinct, heart, mind than a dog that is trained by professionals.
Because it survived.
Because he's using his natural resources to survive.
Mm-hmm.
So a street dog can tell you when a person is not good for you versus a dog that is trained. You have to tell them when to do it.
Personality of dog is the most important thing when you're considering getting a dog. Is it?
Position of the pack.
Yes.
Because people look at personality completely different. So position of the pack is a lot more raw, more instinctual.
Yep.
You know, you just want you want a back of the pack, for example. So who should get a back of the pack? Well, people with seizures, people with disabilities, because the dog will alert before you get this.
Yes.
So who gets the middle of the pack? Blind humans with who are blind.
Yeah.
They need a dog that is naturally happy-go-lucky. Who gets the front? The police officers.
Mm-hmm.
You see it? So they all have capabilities to be amazing. But when a back of the pack is born, is being given to a family, that dog can get overwhelmed by the way the family approaches them.
Uh-huh.
So it becomes fear aggressive. Or the middle of the pack becomes obsessive of something.
Kick off the year with wellness goals you'll actually enjoy, like eating more seafood and cooking at home. You'll love the fresh caught flavor and effortless ease of our recipe kits, entrees, and time-saving dinners.
Brother and his family have a dog that they really have to, when they're walking the dog, they have to be careful because he attacks every other dog he comes across.
Well, remember, there's a competitive, dominance, or predatorial. So those are the part that people open up when they don't set the rules, boundaries, limitations. So the goal is to close this and tell them when to be competitive. And when it's no time for competition, the dog will set a different eye contact to the other dogs.
Mm-hmm.
You see it? So yeah, it's so most of the time, people open the competitive side, the dominant side, or the predatorial side. When people say, "Where's the kitty? Where's the kitty?" See, they open this predatorial side,
Yep.
and then eventually the dog goes after squirrels, cats, and then it turns into a dog. Because the human excites this side of the dog, and dogs are predatorial. So the goal is do not open this door until you have trust, respect. That's calm, surrender.
Mm-hmm.
You see it? Any breed. That's what I do for a living.
Yep.
Right? People bring me aggressive dogs, and my goal is to close those doors of aggression, open the door of calm surrender. Like what we're doing right now. We're calm, we open our mind. That's what we can talk.
Yep.
You see it?
Yep.
And so in the animal world, that is what it means. It means trust, respect others. Trust, respect others. No matter what breed the dog is, it's irrelevant, the breed.
Mm-hmm.
The breed is irrelevant. They're all dogs.
Yep.
So that's what we need to bring out, the best part of the dog. And the best part of the dog is his calm surrender and his happy-go-lucky.
Yeah.
That's the best part of a dog,
Mm-hmm.
especially for people who don't want a dog to be protective. But most people trigger this protective side of them.
Mm-hmm.
And so my dog is very protective of me. Oh, my dog is very jealous. You see it? Oh, my dog doesn't like when my husband comes near me. It's like, but it's family. Why would the dog go after a family member? It's confusion.
Yeah.
You see it? A dog should never go after family member because it goes against loyalty.
I read recently in prep for our discussion that it's documentable that children who grew up around dogs have a better, they perform better in school, and they perform better socially.
Well, of course, because you learn to care for others, right? You learn to engage in connection, communication, relationship with a different species, right? So if the kid is raised the right way, the kid is going to understand. Hey, the dog has needs. The dog has rules, boundaries, limitations. You have to be respectful. You know, you have to gain the trust. Look, I grew up with this concept. Never work against Mother Nature. That was my grandfather. Never work against Mother Nature. Always gain their trust, always gain their respect, and they're going to give you a beautiful gift called loyalty. So imagine growing up with this concept.
Yeah.
He didn't say, they're going to give it to me. No, he said, I have to earn it.
You mentioned the difference between the U.S. and Mexico. The dogs in Mexico are free, and they're behind walls in the U.S. You also said that they're pack animals. Do you recommend that people have more than one dog?
Make sure that the first dog is perfect, so the second dog is raised by the first dog, right? Because it's a team, it's a pack. It's like bringing a new member. It's like soccer, right? Or soccer or any team.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure your star is under control, and then you bring another star. Otherwise, they're gonna fight. It's important, and it doesn't have to be a dog. It can be a dog and a cat, a dog and a bird,
Mm-hmm.
a dog and an armadillo. You know, remember they adapt. We're not the same species. So
Maybe I made the mistake of assuming when you said pack that the pack had to be all dogs. And now with what you're saying, I'm thinking the family could be the pack.
yeah, the homeless people, for example, homeless people don't have like a pack of human. So what does homeless people do? They create a pack with a different species, and that dog becomes his family. That's the beauty of a human and a dog, right? The capability to adapt, because those are the two species you'll find anywhere in the world. If it's cold, you find a human and a dog. If it's hot, you find a human and a dog. If it's raining, you find a human and a dog. There is no other two species that are so capable to adapt.
As we think about all that we read about and hear about now, we're all talking about how do we lead healthier, longer lives, better lives. Uh, how in your 20 plus year career, how has healthcare among dogs changed? Uh, have we made
Food.
advances in terms of diet like we have with humans, understanding what a good diet is? Have we,
I think
you were walking dogs because you knew it was good for their health, both physically and mentally. How is our healthcare and longevity outlook on dogs changed? Has life expectancy changed?
yes, because we are more aware about food, and that includes me. Because we now understand what kibbles really do for dogs. And that's a reason why a lot of dogs in Mexico don't have cancer, because they eat what we eat, right? And
Yeah.
we don't call it organic. We just grow our thing. The tortillas is something that we grew up. The chicken that we eat is we grew up. You see it?
Yep.
And so the Mexican dogs, believe it or not, don't develop cancer as much as the American dogs, and it's all because the food,
Diet.
right? And the
Mhm.
stress, this by the lack of exercise, that also stress can kill you.
Mhm.
So the combination between a better exercise with a better stimulation of the mind, it's more games where the people know how to stimulate the mind, and then give dogs good food. Fasting is also something that is very cleanse, and
Oh, yeah.
people don't see it as a bad thing,
Uh-huh.
right? So we're including this beautiful fasting in Mexico. When you have no food, you fast. Well, you don't call it that way. You just call it you have no food.
Yes.
But we learn, we learn that the benefits of skipping a meal, right? And so definitely becoming more aware about being more natural, simple, profound, which people call it organic. But yeah, I think this is where third world country can teach first world country how to live a much healthier life,
Hmm.
right? Because with very little, people are happy,
Yes.
and it's all about the family. Like you know what I mean? They don't wait for Thanksgiving to see the family.
Hmm.
The Mexicans are always with friends, singing, dancing, right? So what is longevity? Well, the more you communicate with humans and interact and help each other, the longer you live.
Of
Why?
course.
Because you become happy.
Yes.
It's simple concept,
Hmm.
right? So here in America, we have to wait until Thanksgiving to see the family.
What's next in your career? I know you have your sons working with you now. That must be a thrill.
Well, I have five grandkids that I adopted, and so next to my career is definitely helping that generation, right? Definitely doing more live shows. I never been in India, so I want to do a show in India, right? Because America goes to India to become enlightened,
Yes.
right? And so I know there is a dog problem there, that I want to help them with. I want to, hey guys, whatever you teach in humans, you can also practice it with dogs here. I want to go to China, and also just for me to challenge myself on connection, communication, relationship with different race.
Mhm.
Yes, and bring in this concept of using your energy the right way, using the philosophy the right way, the actions, education, my goal is, listen, my goal is better human, better planet,
Yep.
right? The show is called better, right now. The show is better human, better dog. But the mission is better human, better planet. And with the dog, I can make it tangible, right? Because a dog is a dog no matter where I go in the world. So I don't have to like learn Chinese for a dog, right? It's a dog. Yeah. And so they're going to be able to see, wow, this guy was able to speak to my dog and he doesn't speak Chinese. That's right, because I speak dog, right? And then I'll teach, like Charlie Chaplin, I'll teach with energy, body language, how to connect, communicate, have a relationship with a dog, even though I don't speak their language, but I speak this international language that is energy, philosophy, action. It's about trust, it's about respect, it's about love.
And you've demonstrated over your career that you can teach people to understand what communication, what energy is like, and then how to work that into their own life to be effective with their animal.
Yeah, because a dog, right? You give me an aggressive dog, and we're in a place that I don't know the language, but everybody sees the aggression. And then once that dog is in my hands, the aggression changes. Then people are going to be like, how did he did it? And I just go and write things very simple, right? Energy, philosophy, actions. I created a formula because, English is not my first language. So how can I be quick and impacting with few words? So people can remember, I have to pay attention to my energy. I have to pay attention to what I'm thinking and to what I'm doing.
Now, like all of us, you had high highs and low lows in your life.
Yes, sir.
Was at the time when you've had lows in your life, were you less effective with the dogs? Did they sense that your energy wasn't where it should be?
Confusion and happiness, chaos. Once you enter into that world, you're completely disconnected, right? So yes, the dogs automatically became chaotic because their pack leader is feeling disconnected.
Yes.
That I don't believe in myself. I'm not. My instincts. I'm not even breathing right.
Yes.
Simple stuff. I'm not loving myself. In my mind, I'm only thinking failure. Right. So it's almost like you go from this beautiful wind, water, and you turn into fire. Right. So the only energy that's coming out is hot. And so it repels everything. Yeah. Versus when I'm in my norm, I'm like wind and water. Very light and very flexible. Light and flexible. Right? I'm a passionate guy because I'm Latino, but not all the time.
Cesar, you're so wise. You teach so much, but I think this whole dog whisperer thing is a joke. You're really the people whisperer.
Well, I do work with humans, that's for sure. But it takes longer to train a human than a dog. I tell you that.
So, Cesar, if people wanted to connect with you, what's the best place to send them?
CesarMillan.com. They can find everything we do, live shows, TCW, online.
And that's Millan.
That's correct. 2 L's.
Thank you, Cesar Millan. You're a fun person to talk to. I learned a lot.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.